Hey guys, and welcome to Boho Jewel on YouTube. My name is Sandra, and today I'm going to show you how to create these really cute little dishcloths. So these are fun gifts. Everybody loves them. I make these every year. I kind of work on them during the winter months when I have a little extra time and sell them at the farmers markets in the spring. I have customers who seek them out every year. These right here are two that I have a bunch of them, but these are two that I have had for over a year probably. So you can see they wash well, they wear well, they're super sturdy and durable. They're my favorite thing to wash dishes with. And if you've ever watched anything else that I do, you know that I'm not a big fan of dishes. So it makes it a little more colorful and pleasant. And then this one is one that I just did. And you can see the size difference a little. I just wanted to share that. I actually don't mind them smaller. I prefer them a little bit on the smaller size. I've seen people do them even much larger than this. But I like the littler ones. They're just big enough for what I need to do. But this one right here is a little bit larger. Still an okay size for my personal preference, but really you can do them any size that you want. So I'm going to show you, and if you're just learning how to crochet, or if you want to learn how to crochet, this is a really super easy beginner project. So it's a really great way to learn the basics. So the yarn that I use for these is Lily Sugar and Cream, and this is what I usually use. It's 100% cotton. It's not expensive. It's just a couple of dollars for a roll of the yarn. When you flip it over, if you're just starting with all this, you'll notice on the back that you've got a couple of little boxes here. So this one right here is if you're knitting, it'll give you the size of the knitting needles that's recommended for this particular yarn, and right here you'll see the recommended size for your crochet hook, which is a 5mm. So I have my little 5mm hook right here. So you can see that. So I'm going to use that, and we're going to get started. So first things first, when you're creating that first knot for your crochet piece, this is the easiest way that I've found to do it. So you want to leave a little bit of length, and I'm just going to take it and wrap it around my finger and lay this part in the back of my first loop, pull this up, well, it doesn't have to be that much, put my crochet hook underneath and pull this out and make a knot, and I'll show you that again. Sometimes when you're first beginning something, when you're first starting something new, it's the simplest parts that can feel frustrating, for me anyway. So, right over your hand, and you create a loop, and you're going to loop this one behind. And just kind of hold it gently, and put that crochet hook underneath, pull that back loop forward, slip your finger out and hold on to it, and then just tighten it up, and you've got your first knot. So what we're going to do to begin with, let me show you how to hold your yarn. So you put it over your hand, whoops, without the little tail, get that tail out of the way. You put it over your hand, okay, loop it around that top finger, and then you're going to use your middle finger and your thumb to hold this piece to keep it steady for yourself, and just kind of grab the yarn with the last two fingers, your two fingers right here. So, and you want to hold it fairly comfortably, I guess is the best way to say it. You don't want your chains and your stitches to get too loose, but you also don't want to feel like you have a death grip on this, because then it's going to be really difficult to start pulling things through your loops, especially when you get in, start pulling extra yarn through and things like that. You want to be fairly relaxed, and that's something you'll figure out kind of as you get going with it. So, I'm just going to, I've got my hook in here, I'm going to wrap around just like this, and pull it through to create my first chain. And we're going to just create a chain that way. So again, pull it through. And your chain right here is going to be the length of what you're trying to make. So for this dishcloth, for example, I did, I believe, a chain of 25. So that's 25 for this beginning row right here. And when you're making these, the idea is to get them square. So if you chain 25, you're going to want to have 25 rows as well. Or if you chain 20, you want to have 20 rows going this way. So let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 20. Sorry for the radio silence. When I'm doing numbers, I have to be quiet. It's kind of a walking and chewing gum at the same time thing. So now what we're going to do for this pattern right here, it's a single crochet, which is a very basic, very easy, wonderful first step for beginners. And all you do, you have your, I'm trying to get in the camera, you have your chain right here and your hook right here. You see this first loop right here? You're just going to go through that loop, loop around your yarn, pull it back through, and then you're going to loop again and pull it through. And that is your basic single crochet. So I'm going to show you again. So you go through the chain, pull through, and then you have 2 little loops, and now you're going to pull another bit through those 2 little loops. Just like that. Trying to watch in the camera a little bit to see, which is kind of weird to do, to see how well of an angle you guys have. Okay, and then through both of those. So now as you do this, again, don't hold your yarn or anything too tightly, because if you start really tightening up on everything, you can make it to where your chains are so tight that you can barely get your hook through there, and you don't want to do that. And you'll know if you're holding it too loose, because it'll start to get kind of wonky and wobbly. And a lot of times this is just a matter of practice, just like anything else that we do in life, in crafting, in art. It just takes a little bit of practice, and don't worry about being too speedy quick. Once you get the hang of this basic single chain stitch, you will be off and running in no time. Now you can also use this basic stitch to create things like scarves. All you need to do is create the width of your scarf, however wide you want your scarf to be, and rather than stopping at a square, you could just keep going into a rectangle shape until you get the length of your scarf the way that you want it. So really nice basic stitch. And it's fairly pretty, I think. I like it. So I'm going to get you to the end here. So we are on our last chain right here. So on the last chain, same thing, you're just going to go in, do a single crochet, and now the difference is, oh, sorry, little earthquake on the camera there. So now we have our single crochet. So now the only difference is you're going to create a chain 1, which just means you're adding a chain to be able to turn the piece and add a little height. So that's just like when you do your regular chain, you grab your yarn and you pull it through, just like that. So one more time. I know I like to see things a couple times. So you go in and you do your chain 1, right? And then you do, your single stitch, and then you do your chain 1, single crochet. And then you turn the entire piece, so now you're on the right side instead of the left side, and you do the same thing again. You just do single crochet all the way. So here you have your first loop, and you do single crochets all the way down to the end. See? And then you just continue to repeat that all the way down to the end. When you get to the very end, you're going to have your single crochet like this, and then you'll just do your chain 1 to turn it again. So that's all you do, and you do that until you get 25 rows, and I'm going to show you how to finish that. I have this one that I started yesterday. So to finish it, I'm going to pull this out to show you. So we're at the end of our square here. We've done 25 across, 25 rows, and we're at the very end. So I'm going to do a single crochet in my last space. Boom. And then to finish it, I'm going to do a chain 1. And instead of doing anything else from there, because we're done, I'm just going to cut my thread right there, my yarn, and I'm going to keep pulling this piece through, creating a little bit of a knot. Now you don't want these little stragglers hanging off the ends, and you don't want anything unraveling on you. So I just take a needle, fairly wide needle, it doesn't have to be too sharp. Oh, I hate it when the yarn gets stubborn on me. Always during a demonstration. So you thread your needle, and then the idea is to just kind of hide this a little bit. So all I'm going to do is really just wiggle that through. It doesn't have to be anything super scientific here. I usually just kind of free-for-all it, to be quite honest, just to get it through a few of the loops, kind of hide it a little bit, see? And just to weave it through, just to secure it so that it doesn't go unraveling and being a stinker. And then then this is just a habit that I have, I tend to push it through the other side, flip it over, and then trim it, because then it disappears itself underneath there. And this is the little tail from the beginning when you leave your tail on your first knot, and you do the same thing on that side. So funny how the yarn stays in one piece until you try to thread a needle with it, and then it decides to explode and fray all over the place. What is that about? Seriously. Okay. Having technical difficulties. Okay. Trying really hard not to spit on my yarn. I know you probably do it at home too. I'm trying to be YouTube professional here. So there we go. So then same thing, you just pull it through and tuck it underneath your strands. Kind of just tuck it through a few places just to keep it hidden. So I would love to know if you guys do these, if you have already made a bunch of them, if you love to do them, if you already give them as gifts, or if you even use different types of crochet stitches for them. Now I will say you can make these big enough to use them as washcloths as well. This particular yarn, I really like it for the dishcloths because it serves the purpose and it's super durable. It's not super soft though, so I don't know that I would really want it for like a body washcloth, but there are some softer 100% cotton yarns out there, so you can make them even a little bit bigger and do them as body washcloths as well. So let me know if you guys do this. As I learn some more crochet stitches myself and work on some new projects, I will be sharing them with you. In the meantime, subscribe to my channel. I'll be sharing some other jewelry making tips very soon, as well as some little business tips and brainstorming with you guys as well. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks.